Late night crew, assemble. Come in, come in. Oh, whoever hit the like button, thank you very much. I see you out there. I was just looking at my channel to see if I was live. I see it go from 0 likes to 1 like. Who was, name yourself in the chat, who just did that? See, that's true support. Oh, we got a second like. Yeah. Ryan Swain, how's it going, man? Giggity goo. Yeah, give those nodes a screw. It's the only type of screw they're going to get. Hey, King Parsi, how's it going, man? Jay Bursk, how did your finals thing go? Yeah, late one today, BMC. It's 5 a.m. in Amsterdam. Damn. So you're 2 hours off the UK? Oh, my back is still fucked. Today we're drinking water. And I have skulls on my cup, which means that I am heavy metal. Oh, lean back a bit. Luckily, this particular chair has really good support in the back. So it's like I'm not putting any of my weight in the part, which is killing me. So if you don't know, I can barely move. My back is completely screwed. So what's going on, guys? Any gossip? I saw some gossip today which is very, I often talk about how sneaky lobbyists are when it comes to music, all right? So your band on YouTube is literally being pushed down in the algorithm versus whoever is what do they call it? A trusted YouTube partner source or something to those effects, right? So basically, you got BMG and all the Warner Musical Group and all that. They're gonna pop up in the algorithm before you do, even if they search in specific things, right? So that's just a little tiny part of the monopoly that they have on music, and another part of that was the venues, right? So you have these same. Where do these noise ordinance laws pop up, right? They pop up usually in large like city areas where there's a lot of people that need to be entertained, right? And now this woman was rehearsing the flute in her apartment, and she got some noise complaints, so she tried to do what she could. She wasn't exactly blasting Marshalls and stuff. And she gets a knock on the door from the police. She gets handed like a cease, and I don't know what the specific form was, But basically it said that you are no longer allowed to rehearse any musical instrument, including computers if that's what you use, at all, because of this noise complaint went through. So now she has all of her instruments and she can't play anything in her own home. And if she does, she's going to get a £5,000 fine, which is like $8,000. And all of her computers will be, all of her anything to do with her music will be confiscated if she practices. So not only now do noise ordinance laws stop any competing bars from, if you open up a bar anywhere now and you have a live band playing, you're going to have a lot of sneaky fuckers reporting you. And then they are going to bring, because they love nothing more to do than shut you down for noise ordinance laws, because then that's less competition for the people who run the music business. It's less competition for Ticketmaster. You know, they basically want a monopoly on music in general. So now, not only is it coming to clubs where it's now, if your band does cover versions in the club, they can come to the club and fine them. And we're not talking chump change. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars in order for our band to play covers. Now, how many different labels are involved in that? So they squeeze in the venues. They squeeze in the venues on things like fire laws. You know, with fire marshals will knock on doors of rivals of the big corporations, right? So you'll keep on getting dinged. If you have one little light bulb at a place that's supposed to be lighting up an exit sign, you're fucked. So they got you on noise ordinance laws. They got you on liquor licenses and general insurance for people in the mosh pit, right? You got every single, there's no chance that you're going to make any money if you open up a venue. And then add to that, people don't have money anyway. But how fucking crazy is that, where the cops can knock on your door, hand you a piece of paper because some fucking Karen's complained that she can hear you, not that you're noisy, but that she can hear sometimes that you're rehearsing or whatever. And if you ignore that, you get a massive fine and they take all your shit. Imagine them walking out with all my marshals. You know what I mean? You can make up some shit about your neighbor making a lot of noise. They didn't even like really investigate it with, you know, sound equipment or anything. So I have a feeling whoever that woman was, I'll put a link after this video, after this live, I'll put a link into a video I watched talking about it. But it is, I hate it because it just affects art. Now, the thing about sketchy, disgusting downtown areas, the reason why New York art got massive in the first place is because in the brownstones, in the really cheap areas where people couldn't afford to live, they'd come all the creatives, all the starving creatives would come there with their bands, with their art, with their fashion. And that's how you get amazing fashion, music, and art. But now you can't, it's almost like illegal to fucking create unless you're in the bubble of that management system. It's unbelievable the liberties that people, we deserve it, by the way, because we voted these people in. So we deserve everything we get and more, to be honest, because of the shit that we've done in the Middle East and, you know, what we're doing now in Ukraine. So it's like, where does it stop, you know? Are you only going to be able to listen to government music in for 20 years' time? You know what I mean? I guess that's where it does stop. So yeah, they do this thing, right, where they clean up downtown, and they did this in Orlando, where basically it went from, because they had a few bums and this and that and some party stragglers, they cleaned up downtown, and it worked too well, where it became so vanilla that nobody even wanted to go down there. Now it's starting to come back, but Jesus Christ, man, the music scene is just being killed by the people who profit from it. They don't want competition. You, if you can, like me right now, I've got a few eyeballs on me right now, and that's what they don't want. They don't want any competition whatsoever, you know. And they being the three major labels that keep on demonetizing my channel and stuff. And how sick is that? Where I can work on an hour-long video for Iron Maiden or something, and I do use their song, right? I play their song. It's my music. I play their song, and I'm like, fine. But why should they have all of the money on the entire hour, including my research, including all the shit that I do, which is basically educational? Why should they take the entire fucking hour's worth? Why can't they just claim for, say, if the video is 5% of their music, why can't they claim the 5%? But they know they have to take it all or just block it completely, you know? So it's the industry right now, it's like, it's so sad that I'm seeing the same. It's bad that musicians are already doing the wrong thing when it comes to capturing their sound, right? They're capturing it in a way which the public don't like when it comes to rock and metal, right? Most musicians are oblivious to this fact, that it does not vibe with people, the current modern metal production. So we have so much against us when it comes to corporatism in music, right? And then we go and shoot ourselves in the foot by doing this fucking muck production, you know? Everything's snapped to a grid, replace drums, even replace bass now. There's bass plugins where you don't even have to play a bass anymore, you know? So we are hampered. We're hampering ourselves, and we're up against a monopoly. So it's like, and so people ask me, why am I selling all my shit? It's like, we lost. Do. All right, let's have a look at the chitty chatters. But how fucked is that, man? Like, $5,000 fine and take all of your equipment. And it wasn't like some, you know, spiderweb tattoo on the face, Satan on the knuckles, or it wasn't like a trap house, you know, with undesirables. It was the most, it looks like she just come from church, you know what I mean? So there is a little bit to this where I was thinking, you know what, because I think this, where I would never not expect having issues if I live in an apartment. You know, it's like you got. I couldn't I couldn't live in an apartment and make music because I lived in an apartment a year ago, just temporarily. But you know, so I couldn't, like, you saw my videos just disappear because it's like I'm not gonna mix, because you have to mix on speakers with neighbors below me. It's just fucking obnoxious, you know. So you do have to take some personal responsibility when it comes to that. But people complaining about downtown being noisy doesn't even happen. The public aren't really complaining about it. It's a lot of legislation being written is by lobbyists creating the problem, and then they fucking make money from the solution of the problem, as in they don't get competition. And then you end up wondering why it's like $1,000 for a fucking Taylor Swift ticket. Taylor Swift, whose father paid the record label to take her initially. He paid tens of thousands of dollars, say, hey, take her on, and you have to treat her, especially with the distribution and with her marketing, treat her like one of your artists, and I'll be watching. And it just so happens that she was talented. But, you know, so even Taylor Swift had to grease the palms to get noticed, you know? J-Bus, one went great, the other not so much. Only 3 people in my 15-person class passed. Teacher isn't the greatest teacher, but I still got a B in the actual class. All right, B is good enough. Good enough for rock and roll. Ryan Swain, Owen, I think the pay to play model and regulations applied to local businesses are major factors to the death of rock and metal. There is that. There's the pay to play thing, if you guys don't know, was something that really took off in the late 80s and 90s. And people who paid to play early, people like Limp Bizkit, they used to pay to play. Um, it was they paid for radio play mostly. There's a good if you check out Finn McKenty's channel, the Punk Rock MBA is a really good video on Limp Bizkit on there of how, you know, he was saying we need more Limp Bizkits because you know, at least they have personality. So it's like with pay to play, it was a big thing in really what happened was with hair metal, and especially in California, there were so many fucking bands. They were just falling out of every apartment complex. So all the clubs were like, you know, if they were seeing like a lot of them sucked, right? So they weren't bringing in many people. So a lot of these bands were told, okay, man, you just have to sell, give me the money up front as if you've sold all your tickets. I'm going to give you the tickets to sell, but you got to give me the money. And then if you don't sell them, then that's on you. And that turned into where we're not even going to give you tickets. You're just going to fucking pay us and we'll put you on, you know, to give you a spotlight. So yeah, pay to play. Yeah, it does actually coincide. The end of pay to play was the late 90s, and that is kind of when rock and metal started going off the boil. Like the early 2000s is when the death of new metal, as it happens, is when things started going off the boil when it came to um, rock and metal being mainstream. So yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think of the pay to play aspect. So that's happening now in regulations, pay to play model. Yeah, regulations are a massive aspect of why everything's gone vanilla. Just everything from fire marshals to fucking insurance. You know, the hoops you have to jump through are just, you know, it's hard to get into. Say if you just want to get into uh, being a liquor company, it's hard to get into that life because it's run by gangsters. So they have lots of little tricks to make you not want to open up a club. You know, Matthias. That's why I always rehearse in the woods. Yeah, there is nothing more fun. I suggest everybody tries this. If you have a generator, there is nothing cooler, man, than going in the middle of nowhere and putting it on fucking full. It's a weird thing because there's nothing really to stop. There's no walls that it's bouncing off, so you kind of hear a really isolated uh, sound. You know, even though you could have trees around and shit. But it's weird, and it doesn't sound as good as you might think it would. But it's just like it's kind of fun, you know. Plus, it's always fun to put it on 10. Can anyone remember that Nam video, which proved that all guitarists now are bedroom guitarists? Because there was a Nam video rolling around where it was various YouTubers and everything could play on a Marshall on 10, and none of them knew how to handle the guitar when it was that loud. Because we used to put it on, crank it in the back in the day, but nobody was manipulating like the volume on the guitar to actually make it sound like musical or anything. They were all like, "Oh my god!" and just get like just an absolute fucking nightmare of the worst sound you've ever heard in your life. Yeah, because that's the way it's gone, man. Modern production, nobody's using loud amps. You know, they're using amp sims. Yeah, King Posse, that's sick. Noise ordnance laws in Holland killed most of the fun. Yep, gone very vanilla. I mean, how safe do you want to be? You know, Jack Pillower, how would I say that? Julka. There's a guy who said his friends play better than Buckethead. I honestly think Buckethead's overrated, but that's just me. If you like a random scale generator, I suppose it's good. Hey Avi, how's it going, man? Rab Goldie. Thankfully, my 86-year-old neighbor is deaf. With my neighbors, like, especially my old house that I sold, the he had a yappy dog, and I was like, dude, I play guitar. We're gonna be, if it's a competition between annoying noises coming from one house, I'm gonna win. So, and he laughed. And then I was like, dude, if you dog's barking, I know sometimes people get like self-conscious about it, about the neighbor and what they think. I'm like, let him bark. I don't care. In fact, it's good because he always barks when people go past the house, and that's like free alarm, you know. So you got, if you're in the situation with whoever's living with you in an apartment complex or close neighbors, you got to negotiate with them. You got to get to know them, you know. Because whatever, if you missed earlier, there's a lady that was given the warning of a £5,000 fine and getting all of her musical equipment confiscated because her neighbours were complaining about the noise. And she was just doing flute and stuff. So it's the draconian laws that are being pumped up. But yeah, if you want to avoid that type of thing, if you are forced to move somewhere as a musician where you're in close proximity with others, get to know them. Befriend them, and then you can just don't walk up to them and say, hey, when do you go to work? When do you go to work? When are you not home? When are you not home? You got you got to be subtle about it. And then the conversation turns, when's the best time for me to make noise? They say, oh, I'm away on the weekends for blah 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 time, and then you can crank it, So I tell you what though, imagine the orgasm that Karen got, right? Where you complain about a neighbor making noise. Imagine the orgasm you got. The Karen, the cracking in, right? The nipples fucking erect when she found out, I know it's a she found out that her neighbor was threatened with a $5,000 fine and all of her precious instruments being stolen. Oh, I bet she had to smoke a fucking cigarette after hearing that from the cops. Oh my God. That's like fucking jackpot if you're a Karen. It's almost worth it happening for her to get that much pleasure. I'm just glad somebody in life is getting that much pleasure from somebody else getting fucked over. Yep. Val Madness. Death and resurrection are two sides of the same coin. So metal scene will resurrect in some way. I do think it's going the way of jazz. So it's always going to be there, but it's going to be, for old cunts. J Busk, the Eagles have 60 people that troll internet copyright strike and stuff using their music. You don't even have to represent the bands or anything. You can make up your own fucking, who is it? K-Mac. K-Mac, he's like a really funny YouTuber. He just takes the piss out of Gent, but he loves Gent. So it's from the heart. But somebody claimed music on his channel, right? Under the name of his first name, somebody, second name, Obama. Right? So they claimed so they get all the money on his video, right? And if he was to go and actually oppose it, he would have to give that party, who's a made-up fucking scam artist, all of his details, his address, his business name, all that shit. So why would you hand over a scammer all that information who's already scamming you? That is YouTube. YouTube a part of the vice of keeping these monopolies in place. It's sometimes you say, oh, that's unfair. sometimes it's so unfair as to be, just call it what it is, criminal. It's so unfair as to be criminal. So if it gets to that point, then it's YouTube that's the criminal, you know? And they're in bed with BlackRock and Vanguard and everything else. Because Google, who the fuck are Google to you know, rule the internet? It's a blatant monopoly. In fucking this, monopolies are illegal in capitalism. So that's why it's not capitalism, it's corporatism. And that's where all these funnels of anything that seems so wrong as to be illegal, they have all the judges in their pocket. You know, Hunter Biden. So yeah, good times. So it's just another, like, all the headlines I'm seeing are not positive for rock and metal, you know? Val Madness, Spotify is the mafia, lol. Oh, they're all the majors, they deal behind closed doors. Ryan Swain, I would say that rock and metal needs an Elon Musk Twitter scenario, but they would prevent the purchase or events, in this case, from popping up. Yeah, unfortunately, Elon Musk is another corporatist, you know. There's sides. It's like I keep on saying WWE. It's like professional wrestling. Just like Google got seed money funded from the government, so did he. So he's one of these pawns that are put in positions to take advantage. You know, I think his parents were insanely rich. I think they had fucking like diamond mines in South Africa. So Elon Musk, a lot of these people will tell you what you want to hear, and then behind closed doors, they'll, you know, tank Dogecoin and make a fucking make billions. It would be nice for Twitter. Say if I was wrong, and Elon was just a regular guy who's up for free speech, which he isn't. But you know, it would be nice to have Twitter as a place to upload videos and to have a fair monetization aspect. And it would be nice not to have the major record labels having a thumb on the scales of the algorithm when you search for music. It would be so nice, but you know, it's not going to happen. Oh yeah, we're on like day 5 now of my house in Florida not having air conditioning. So I'm struggling. That's why it's super late right now. It's like midnight, is it? No, 11:30. So if you see this t-shirt slowly starting to stick to me, I'm not entering myself for a wet t-shirt contest. BMC guitar. The cops told us back in the early 90s in the suburbs, either shut up or we'll take you and your gear to the station. It's fucking crazy. Avi. Is it true that bass strings brightness wear off so fast that a set of strings doesn't even last a single day of recording? Or is that YouTubers exaggerating? It depends on the session. I've had one session where at the end of it, my strings were literally black from one day of recording, from black, because I went hard in the paint, brother. So it depends on the person. I have, thankfully, really dry hands, so nothing. It's my strings tend to last long anyway, but brightness wears off so fast that set strings doesn't last a single day of recording is bullshit. But I do know, if I was recording an album, I would change my strings every day. on bass. I was recording a proper album. There is a little bit of zing. There really is a little zing on the freshly opened, freshly cracked, which goes away after quite a lot of playing, but indie grove, racketeering. Yep, exactly, racketeering, creating a problem and selling you the solution. Matthias, Taylor Swift has Max Martin, Daddy's Dollars, and autotune to thank for her career. Yeah, she's fucking smart though, dude. She bought all of her catalog back and then actually got bigger. So she is rolling in the money. I wonder who made more money, her or Ginger? What's his name? Talentless fucking hack. Can't remember his name. J Busk. Oh, and it's a year old now, but what do I think of Imperia by Ghost? I didn't think it had very good repetition for me because I didn't keep on going back to it. It was fun though. The thriller style videos and everything. Was that the one? Avi, it will be really interesting if the Pied Piper of Hamelin, Taylor Swift, ever gets married or preggers to see scores with fans suddenly becoming desperate to copy her. Yeah. Indie Grove, late 90s was a bad time for recording too, early digital. Yeah, I keep on saying that. It was one of the data points for the death of rock and metal was the introduction of the digital audio workstation, Pro Tools. King Posse, smash the like button, guys. I agree. Can you do that for me? Thanks, chaps. Ryan Swain, the Plexi and JCM 800s on 10 videos are fun to watch. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was fun. We see they were like physically scared trying to play them when they were maxed out. Indie Grove. Fake drum sounds are the biggest bummer for me. Yeah. Yeah, what was I listening to today? Uh Phil Campbell brought out a new song today with Phil Campbell and the Bastards of whatever this band's name's called. And it was pretty good. And I was like, that's real drum sound, you know? It's really really compressed. You could tell they've really had to fuck with the drum sound because nobody can like record drums anymore. But well, I could tell anyway with the snare at least. It was like that's a real snare. And it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was gonna be. So Phil Campbell's new music is pretty good. It's rocking, dated, you know. But as a fellow Welshman, it surprised me. Good riffs too, more technical than Motorhead stuff. BMC guitars. We still record live instruments with my band. Wouldn't have it any other way. And you will get a leg up versus the fucking countless thousands of bots doing it snap to a grid. Ryan Swain. Owen, genuine question. Is your first patron, Richard P., even active on your Patreon? I believe he is. He has been probably the best patron I have. I'm not sure if he still is. I think he is, yeah. Yeah. He comes in here as goth rocker sometimes. But yeah, he's good people. Yeah, nobody has given me more money for this channel than Richard P. Charles Wagner, lol, just soundproof the band room. Yeah, no, with Karens, all they have to do is hear it. It doesn't even have to be loud. So obviously you're gonna hear, you know, soundproofing's fucking hard too. Very expensive. Nicholas Santiago, would you be willing to discuss the change in the music industry in Seattle? You mentioned a video about how record labels lobby to get laws passed to hurt the live scene. Yeah, the Seattle has a foot up when it comes to that type of thing because they have genuine basements that you can't hear shit when you're outside. So if a scene is going to come back to life, it would be in a place like Seattle with a lot of people and a lot of basements, you know? Plus, sometimes they snowed in for fucking months on end. So they literally have to like create. So it's a perfect band house. Yeah. Charles Wagner, all music scenes are in decline in the USA. Yeah. Yeah, even the rap is starting to get a bit weird. The rap and the EDM. Even people are starting to like, I think it's because of the prices, because Ticketmaster got what they wanted. I would like to go down though, because there's some fucking epic EDM concerts in Miami. I would like to go down and see a few of those, because I do actually like a lot of EDM. Nicholas Santiago, something about how record labels promoted rappers in stadiums to kill the garage rock scene. Yeah. Rappers are having a hard time filling stadiums now. There's only a select few that can do stadiums because, like, the previous all scenes are in decline. I'd agree, man. And believe it or not, TikTok has swallowed a lot of souls. There's a lot of people just stuck to TikTok fucking 12 hours a day. So if you're on TikTok, can you add me? Just search Circle of Tone in TikTok. I need 1,000 followers to live stream to them too. So while I'm doing this, I could be uploading to TikTok too. And before you say China, whatever you just typed on was made in China. Charles Wagner, Euro American culture is in deep decline in the US. Yeah. It depends where you are, but not really. Yeah, that it's if anything, I guess there are a lot of, you know, I guess what you're talking about is a lot of wiggers, white kids trying to be, gangster, this and that and the other. But I think, yeah, Charles Wagner. Haven't you ever played Monopoly? When the bank runs out of money, it can simply print more. Lol, monopolies are the point to capitalism. Okay, bro. That only works with the reason why America isn't capitalist because you can't print money for private companies in capitalism. So it's not capitalism, brother. It hasn't been capitalism probably ever. Because this is what should have happened if America was capitalist, right? In '08, the bad banks who gambled with money go away. All of the millions of people that have money in these banks are all insured FTC up to like almost $300,000. So you get bailed out for $300,000. Now, good banks, local banks, just credit unions, people who didn't like money launder for the worst of the worst, all right? They get all these new clients from us with our $300,000 that we salvaged, from that. And then all these good banks are rewarded with millions of new customers. That's what fucking capitalism is. Capitalism isn't bailing out the banks, the worst of the worst, the actual sharks that caused a lot of the problems in America. So you don't say capitalism is the point, monopolies are the point of capitalism. You could say that for anything. Like, you could say that China is capitalist. Because, no, you can say China is corporatist because they bailed out their banks. So they are not even socialist or communist or whatever. They are corporatist. So are China, because China did the same thing, does that make them, late stage capitalism? Late stage capitalism is code for no laws when it comes to the elite, So literally doing illegal things should have resulted in bankers going to prison, and didn't happen. So you could have a socialist country, right? As soon as you print out money for banks that did illegal things and failed, you're now corporatist. You're not capitalist, you're not socialist, you're not nothing. So yeah, people who say like late stage capitalism is corporatism are just ignoring the fact that laws are being broken, and it's laws for them and there's laws for us. So all you're saying is that illegal activity is a thing. That's all you're saying. You're not saying capitalism is this, because if you break the law in any of the isms, in socialism or capitalism or whatever, and you get away with it, and not only that, you get money printed more for you, then corporatism. You can't change the names of words, especially when you say monopolies are the point of capitalism, when it's when anti-monopoly is the bedrock of it. And what America has mostly is a duopoly. So you'll have a Walgreens over here, and then you'll have a CVS on the other side to make sure it's not a monopoly. And they're all dealing under the table to fix their own fucking prices, so that a little vial of salt water costs $6, which costs 5 cents to manufacture. No competition. That's not capitalism, brother. It's a fucking duopoly, monopoly, corporatist bullshit. So don't say that capitalism is monopolies the point of capitalism, because it's like saying, murder is the best way to fucking save a life. It's the complete opposite. It's an oxymoron. All right, Scott, coming up, Guitar Center, huge 4th of July sale, 35% off the store, except every brand of gear you'd ever buy. Isn't that the fucking case? Hey, I remember the good old days of Guitar Center sales, right? They used to be so fucking stupid. Whoever was doing the Guitar Center sales, they didn't realize that, say the 35% off thing, right? But it's limited to brands. Sometimes you could look at used items, like I used to buy old used Gibsons and use that code, and it would fucking work. And then I try and do it the next day, and they frantically fixed it, because I'd still get the gear. So yeah, sometimes those 35% codes back in the day, but they fixed it now. But I used to get some good shit, man, from Guitar Center. BMC, thanks for the 2, man. I appreciate it. Guitar students waiting. Hey, they got a good teacher. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Man. Ryan Swain, come on, Owen. Metal needs the wet t-shirt contest. Metal neck beards. That would be pretty fucking funny. Get all the male YouTubers to have a wet t-shirt contest. See how I would do. Oh, I can't move my fucking back, dude. Let's see. Would I be able to get him out for the boys? See if I can tweak him. They're not really tweaking. Ow! Ah, my back. Get him out for the boys, innit? Wet t-shirt. Who would win that? It's got to be Glenn. Glenn will, because he's got that Fabio hair as well, you know. Glenn Frigga. I think he did the same as me with the keto. Lost a fuck ton of weight. Oh, my back. Jesus Christ, I shouldn't have moved. Ah, life is pain. Maybe I should turn to emo with all this pain I'm in. The tears don't fall, they crash around me. BMC guitar. I live in Brisbane and it's just as hot as Florida during summer. No air conditioning. Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised that a lot of Australia doesn't have it AC. I would fucking die. You get hotter than here. In the desert. Oh, BMC, he's gone already. Ben Oga. Oh, Blondie and Susanna Hoffs. Susanna Hoffs has still got it. I actually saw her on Twitter the other day, and she's got that sexy school teacher thing going on now. She was so hot. See that band with Walk Like an Egyptian. That goes into part of the thing where I was talking about the other day, where the guitar riff doesn't have to be great. It's just when the whole band is going, you got the shakers and you got backing vacs and you got backing vocals, and everything is kicking and the drum beat is good, and you get hits like that. It's not the fucking guitars that should be the vocal point for rock and metal. It really shouldn't. It's unless you're a virtuoso, unless you're an Eddie Van Halen, you know what I mean? And even then, look at the fucking rhythm section they had. It was so solid with solid backing vocals, and fucking frontman Golden God doing the jumping splits. Dude, fucking YouTubers, what the fuck are they gonna do versus that? They're not gonna melt vaginas or melt faces, are they? Ethan Red's Roblox. Have I ever heard of Ligma? Ligma balls. Actually, it's a bit of a sore subject because my mother died of Ligma. N8 I do a daily walk around my neighborhood in order to keep fit. And what really bugs me is that I don't hear any live music coming out of any garage. No pimple-faced teenagers rocking out. Yeah, man, the garage bands it used to be part of life. It really was a thing where you drive around and you hear the most god awful music and it just feels good. It's part of the neighborhood, you know. No, they're all stuck to their phones. Hopefully, watching me. It's one thing. Like I have a young daughter, and one thing I'm going to tell her is try not to be the consumer when it comes to the tablets and all that type of thing, and just try and be the involved on the other side of it. The people creating it or actually playing the music or doing it or coding it or something. You got That's the only jobs in the future is going to be fucking entertaining all of us in our pods eating bugs. Avi, how does Ticketmaster force metal bands to go through them? I can understand it with pop and huge labels, but why do they do it to metal bands? It's just a these labels all have um, sub labels which have like metal, combat, things like that, and so they've all got a little piece of the pie where they get allocated money to drag these 70-year-old rock and metal bands. You know, they still sell tickets. I'm going to see Overkill soon. You know, they still move tickets. But yeah, if I think why a lot of rock and metal bands still go through them, look what they did to Pearl Jam. Ticketmaster absolutely destroyed that band. As soon as they started, as soon as they started complaining about ticket prices and this and that, and going to war with them, you never heard from them for like 20 years. They just like completely blew them out of the water. So yeah, careful when you go up against the biggest and the baddest, you know. Nicholas Santiago, I don't use TikTok, but I would make one for your channel. Oh, thanks, man. Don't do it, you know, if you don't have it already. But if you have it already, then that would be cool. I have a TikTok account, so check it out. Indigrove, UK pound is in decline. It's worth way less these days. Yeah, it was really bad against the pound, against the dollar. And I was getting some good deals. I was getting some Celestians being flown over. And nobody knows how to fucking pack Celestians, so then I stopped. Do you know the biggest retards in the world are people that ship speakers? Including if you hand them over to FedEx or whatever to ship for you. Unbelievable the shit I've seen. I've even told them beforehand, this is how you box it, do that, do that. Don't use packing peanuts because it's just going to push in the cone, but I'll do this. And you open it up and it's like fucking a snow globe. Crisp peanuts fucking flying everywhere. Domes pushed in. Ancient 70-year-old fucking unobtainium speakers ruined forever because of some twat. Nicholas Santiago, where is the place to bring the new scene back? In the US, Seattle, or similar places? Or is it Europe? Yeah, I already mentioned Seattle. I think places with basements, you know? I think that would be a good hub for some of these. I think that's why hardcore is kicking off now, because there's so many basements up in the Northeast. So Northeast, yeah, that's a good example of thriving metal scenes because they have keggers, they play in toilets, they'll play anywhere, you know. So I like it. I don't like it that they're copying early 90s hardcore. I hate the copycats because it's so fucking obvious. But I think there could be some interesting shit coming out of that if they get out of this copycat bullshit, you know. Foul Madness. Teenager, play games, no Black Sabbath, no Angel Witch or Motorhead. Yep. Yeah, the Roblox, Grand Theft Auto, you know, and PUBG, that's all kids care about. They just want to be the next Ninja, the next Shroud. They want to be streamers. They want to be gaming streamers. And who could fucking blame them? In my opinion, one of the best entertainers to have ever lived is Dr. Disrespect. He's a streamer. It's a two-time fucking... He's got this shtick where he has a mullet and he dresses up like, you know, the old Cobra movies and stuff like that back in the day. And he is so fucking funny. But he got neutered by... because he started to get too many. I was telling you that they don't want any competition. Because he would be edgy, then he got cancelled, you know, and for no reason from Twitch, because he was a bit of a dissenting person, and he would push out the limit when it came to, you know, I think one of the last things he said in his Twitch stream was talking about Alex Jones or something like that. But he is so fucking funny. And I've always been into video games. I think that's why I fucked my back up in the first place. Matthias, every country is an oligopoly. Oligopoly. It differs on scales and intentions. Well, yeah, it's really just bankers that control everything. Ben Howard, you are correct, sir, regarding the banks. People should have been jumping out of buildings like they did in the 80s. Yeah, scumbags. Indigrove, IMF, yeah. Fuck those criminals. RM Lee 777. If you had to perform live, what amp, cab, and overdrive would I use for my own personal favorite tone? Any one of gear tone necessary would be appreciated. Really, my all-time favorite combo for the style of music that I play is a JCM 800 from 1980 and a cab with blackbacks, greybacks will do too, and from the 70s, early 70s, and honestly, a 1980 Black Label tube screamer for the bulk of my stuff without effects. But that's what I do for the most of my styles that I play. Charles Wagner, neo feudalism, a bit old. RM Lee 777, love your content, keep it coming, brother. Thanks, man, appreciate it. Indigraph, my data being sold and I get no royalties. Great capitalism. Hey, you get it for free. Sold your soul for free so that you can have that Gmail account, which is a really good email account. Attorney, he would use PV Valve King 100 with its 4x12 cab, boxy Q pedal. That's a good shout to shape the tone and drive it a bit harder. Yep. Indie Grove, yeah, DistroKid is becoming a greedy beast. DistroKid, hey, it's better than the other ones. What's that one that really fucking sucks? I can't remember, but they if you uploaded your album to YouTube, they get the fucking royalties for it, and not you. I couldn't believe it when that happened. Who did that? Is it CD Baby or someone? 102 in Houston today. Fuck that, dude. Timothy, how's it going, man? Hello from Chicago, long time viewer. What's up, brother? Ben Hara, slice him up, Slick Daddy. Yep, he is the man. He is the man. Some of the shit. So some of his with Doctor Disrespect is his timing. His timing is top level comedic timing with some of the shit that he reacts to. Charles Wagner, CD Baby is where it's at. I hope, I hope that's sarcasm, man. I hope that's sarcasm. King Posse, the Doctor is awesome. Yeah, Doctor Disrespect. David Icke, that's right. It was Doctor Disrespect was memeing about David Icke and the Lizard People. Nicholas Santiago, why did Ticketmaster Live Nation charge so much? US inflation aside, they're crazy expensive to begin with. Then they go with the BS fees. And these companies, unavoidable. Yeah, that's why it's so expensive, because they have a monopoly, because where else are you going to go? There's nowhere else. Nobody else is can afford to keep their doors open. You know what? If Ticketmaster get fucking bailed out after, say, oh, because of the COVID, oh, dude, I'll be so pissed. Oh, they laugh at us. They fucking laugh at us, I'm telling you. Avi, if you were to recommend a metal guitar amp sim, which one would it be? I would recommend Nolly's archetype, is it called? Yeah, the Nolly one. I'm not saying that because you give it to me for free and I did a video on it. I actually do really like it because remember I said earlier with the JCM 800, one of the uh, amps is based on a JCB800 and the 5150s. You can't go fucking wrong. Yeah, it's really good. You can try it out for a week, I think. You didn't pay me to review it or anything, but you just messaged me on Facebook, and I was surprised. But that was nice of him. It's kind of cool that Nolly, who was just a fucking tone god, and he fucking plays so good, bass and guitar. It was kind of nice of him to. It felt good, being asked by him of all people to check out something that he's been working on for so long and to be one of the first people to use it. So I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Because remember, I take the piss out of Gent and everything, but I always respect the originators when it comes to, Gent Periphery. They started off their own style of music. They borrowed just enough from Meshuggah where they don't sound like Meshuggah, and just enough from Sixth where they don't sound just like Sixth, and then they made it their own thing. I complain about faceless fucking millions that copy them. That's what I refer to when it comes to the vanilla sausages. Yeah, so VST, Nolly Archetype is really good. It's genuinely really good. And I've tried them all because they all have, free trials and everything. Nicola, because sometimes I'm not against using them with VSTs. It's the fucking perfect sketch pad. The DAWs are the perfect sketch pad to put down ideas, and we just, we putting out the sketch pad as our fucking albums. Nicholas Santiago. Also, this channel and most everyone in the comment section is super cool. I can already tell. Much love to everyone. Keep it rocking. We got some good sausages in here, man. N8 Oro. What do I think the ratio on Spotify bedroom musicians to actual musicians who could put out a fantastic local live show? Well, that's it. That's it. And the SoundCloud too. The SoundCloud rappers and everything became a massive thing. But I honestly think a lot of those that made it big were actual plants. It wasn't quite as organic as we think. Indie Grove. I was on YouTube before Google bought it. They forced me to have a Gmail. I never signed up for Gmail. Oh, really? Yeah, it's fun to know, isn't it, that Google just happened to be seeded by the government, and they just happen to have a monopoly on everything. Because how do you, they just buy out competition, Ryan Swain, why do I feel like Owen would do the toaster bath trick to be the metal neckbeards wet t-shirt party to show dominance amongst new metal neckbeards? My neckbeard is starting to come back. I trimmed it down for a bit. I didn't like it, so you can see my grays. I'm gonna be silver foxing. Just for now, I'll just be salt and pepper pappy. Charles Wagner, I keep getting my direct deposits every quarter. Are you talking from CD Baby? But they will be getting your music. So any music your music generates on YouTube is going straight in their pockets, brother. Look at the you get no royalties from CD Baby uploaded to YouTube. They take it. That's what it used to be when I was with them, anyway. Bandcamp seems to be the fairest place to sell stream original music. What do I think? I think it's very competitive now. There's a lot of really cheap places, really good cheap places to release your own music and get most of the money back. So I'd have to research that. I haven't researched it for a while. Indiegrove. I got a Rocktron Prophecy 2. I never use it though. Why? That's pretty good. Pretty good. Attorney. Band Bandoogle is good, but you have to have a way to drive traffic to your Bandoozle site. Okay, I've never heard of that one, so that's a good tip. Timothy, I use S-Gear by Mike Scuffham. King Posse, have I heard of the UAD pedals? I have. I bought the Dream 65 for my son. I think it's really good. I was very interested in that. I love that stuff though. The more the merrier when it comes to pedals. UAD should be interesting. Paj Mahaj, hey brother. Do you think one of the problems a lot of these young people and bands don't do their music history and research and are only influenced by copying what happened in the last 10 years? Yeah, they don't have, back in the day, all right? On one weekend, I could literally see 12 bands in Swansea in one weekend if I wanted to. Local bands, actual gigs, you know what I mean? So it's like my mother could be at a club when she was my age, well, young, when she was like 20, and AC/DC would be playing, literally on the stage in Swansea, in the middle of fucking nowhere. The scene was so fucking massive back in the day, so I was walking around in music, you know what I mean? And it wasn't just what was on the radio, because it was local scenes. So a lot of problem is these kids making music, they don't have a history beyond of what's in the streaming world. So they've never had the experiences that a lot of people like Lemmy had, and you know, to actually get, like, what was Lemmy? How could you possibly be more steeped in music? He was a roadie for fucking Jimi Hendrix. Then he was a roadie for Hawkwind. Then he joined Hawkwind. Then he actually got their only hit single, and he got kicked out for being too much of a badass. And then he came to Motorhead. And what did Motorhead do? Influenced black metal, influenced thrash, influenced that. So all these sprouts come from one guy who's got his mind blown by fucking Hendrix. If he was a teenager, he would be a Disney kid. He'd probably be listening to Drake, who's a Disney kid. Because that was his sphere of influence. The big three. You know, you're forced to listen to this type of music if you're a kid, because it has to be YouTube friendly. And then you have to be a YouTube partner to even get monetized. I mean, look at the competition Disney got rid of with this legislation that YouTube put through. You are now not allowed to be an animator and make money on YouTube because kids watch these shows. It fucking decimated any little studio that could do their own art, their own voiceovers, and try and entertain kids. So they've used a fringe fucking minority, right, of creepers that would watch young people content. They used the fringe, the percentage of a percentage to do these massive swathing laws, which just happen to make lobbyists billions of dollars. Oh my God, what a strange coincidence. We're keeping kids safe and we're making ridiculous amounts of money. You know what I mean? Dude. Honestly, like, I think that's a really good story when it comes to the influence around you. Look at the influence that Lemmy had, and look at the influence he had on music. How are you going to get that in your fucking cubicle, you know, eating bugs? But you're right, man. Paj Mahaj. Chris Wagner, these are all spy programs. The iPhone is the greatest spying device ever invented. That's pretty funny, because what they used to do with honeypots, and you're right, by the way, they all spy on us, including the US government. So the funny thing is, they used to have honeypots to trap people. Like Epstein would have to have, 14-year-old girls to entice, say, Microsoft CEOs or whatever. And that was the old way of doing it. Now they don't even have to do that, because everything every fetish you've looked up, every sketchy thing that you've looked at, they've got you now. You have to be like Ned fucking Flanders to get into a position of power and them not have anything on you, So they are all spy programs. But just so you know, just because it's from China doesn't mean it's the US isn't behind it. I mean, Hunter Biden got $2 billion investment from a Chinese CCP party energy firm to his law company. So China, if you think that the US government are not practically pulling China strings, then you're very adorable. The same people that program Biden's teleprompter program whatever the fucking Chinese are doing. Trust me. Ryan Swain. Why does Owen look like the sketchy Reddit mod that says things that are borderline suspicious? If you know what I mean. I do. I do. I look like fucking mod incarnate. Indigrove. I'm not a monetized channel, but Google still talk to me like they are my employer. Attorney. Like most things, the scene has been swallowed up by online internet virtual reality. Yeah. It's of the For You page, man. The For You page. Basically, Facebook knows what you like. TikTok definitely knows what you like. It's fucking uncanny. And it's showing you what you want. And then a lot of these people, that's why I get so much pushback on the guitar is dead thing. Because all these bots are getting is they think the rest of the world is seeing that animals as leaders is in their feed, which is kind of laughable. So it's like they think that all normies, know about periphery and stuff, and they don't, brother. NATO, no wonder rock and metal sucks these days. Kids are being influenced by baby metal and Ghost, for fuck's sake. Honestly, man, I would take Ghost and baby metal over all this fucking black and roll, black and thrash, black and folk, black and whatever. I would take it. Baby metal just released a song that I like. It was a something Kingdom or something. I was like, this is actually fucking epic. I don't like the band, you know what I mean? I like the gimmick. I loved the old guitarist that died, but how the fuck did he die? And the drummers kicks ass too. So it's a fun band. But I think I'm definitely going to this. I love Metalocalypse and I love Deathclock. Gene Holm on fucking drums, you know what I mean? What's up? And they are playing live soon. They got a new movie coming out, which is awesome. They had a new song released today, so go check it out. Because if you were on Circle of Tone on Facebook, you would know about that because I post that type of shit. They are going on tour with Baby Metal. And I can't wait. When Deathclock do tours, they also have a large screen behind them, which has original content just for the tour, and it's so fucking funny. They were talking about Chuck Schaldiner on there was the drummer Pickles, and he was like, "Hey, we're in Florida, the most brutal home of death metal." And then Pickles was like, "Yeah, I think Chuck invented it when he was on the Woody Woodpecker ride." Because it's so like happy and like dancey and nice. And the most brutal thing came from Florida. That cracked me up anyway. It's funny in a pub. Nicholas Santiago, how do you break the vanilla sausage when you have the DAW as a tool? Can play multiple instruments and can write decent songs, but can't find anyone to commit. You gotta buy them. If you're into it, you gotta buy the people. There's amazing drummers, bass players all over the place that can You just have to pay, and it's not going to be cheap. But that's the way. If you really love it, so you got to pay somebody $500. You got to work a little bit more overtime, but you're only going to waste your fucking life if you do it yourself, man. I get it. You're going to waste your time. If you do it all yourself, not going to happen. Even if you're really, really fucking talented, it's not going to happen because the public just don't like everything snapped to a grid. Fucking sucks. But who would have known that rock and metal people don't like disco? Charles Wagner, kids don't even like modern music. Yeah, they're all going back to fucking. That's why Korn and everything are getting a big boost because new metal's come back. Indie Gruff. My dad once played for Lillian Axe to open the set with Zeppelin. Been a long time. He was asked to replace the drummer, but he declined. What? That's cool. All right, let's speed through some of these. Eats the bugs. Charles Wagner. Lol, I have no problem taking them to task for anything they find on my phone. Yeah. You might be on our list because you listen to my podcast and I've mentioned Hunter Biden and stuff. That's what it's like now, right? Indie Gruff, you have no browsing history shame. Speaking of sketchy history, the old forums were kind of fun from that because they didn't used to be as much tiptoeing and walking on eggshells on the old internet, in the Wild West days. And one meme that went in Harmony Central AMP forum was cake farts, was the fetish of a woman farting on birthday cakes. So you don't have any of that? You don't have any cake fart videos in your history? It's absolutely disgusting because I'm lactose intolerant. Ben Hauer, a lot of shameful tugs in my life. You still whacking? Paj Maharaj, do I think Metallica packed it in and sold out after the Justice album? I do. I do think they made an actual attempt to sell out after the Justice. They kind of because they literally brought out a video for the first time ever on Justice for All. Yeah, Metallica definitely made a conscious effort to make money. I 100% believe that. I don't blame them. Val Madness, have I heard of the band Enforcer? Yes, I have. They're alright. Solid. NATO, Death Clock is just baby metal done right. You're not wrong, man. Yeah. Charles Wagner, saw Death Clock in 2009 with Mastodon playing Crack the Sky in its entirety. I was at that gig too. And they blew fucking Mastodon off the stage. How good was that guitarist they had, the old fucking bald guy? He was so good. High on Fire was in that tour too. That's when he was in the darkness. Teeth optional. Yeah, Flea Market Floppy Disk, they hired Bob Rock, yep, and that was the end of them being cool. They kind of became Bob Rock. Did you notice that? They all became him. Started wearing poofy hair and, eyeliner and frilly shirts. Yeah, Metallica in live in 89 to 91 was unreal. It was, I'm so glad to have been a part of it, you know? Avi, I should wear a bracelet in case of accident. Please erase my browser history. Yeah, katefarts.org. Charles Wagner Converge were there. They weren't on that my Florida leg, I don't think, when I watched. Good times. All right, chaps. I almost moved and hurt my back. Thanks for another chat. We'll put the world to rights another day. And when my back is better, I'll also do some guitar stuff in the streams as well, some recreations, and I'll have a camera that can show you my settings, my mic placements, all that good stuff on stream. All right, my beautiful